China conducts a census every 10 years. The 2020 census was completed at the end of last year and is the 7th since records began. The census is supposed to be published in early April, but has not been released yet. The Chinese Communist Party has two concerns. One is that the census data will expose the actual number of deaths in China due to the coronavirus epidemic. The second is that it will reveal China's population crisis to the world. The Financial Times cites sources because China's total population is quite sensitive. The Communist Party's various agencies must reach a consensus on the data and its implications before its release. The Financial Times quoted their sources as saying that China's latest census results show that the total population has fallen below 1.4 billion, the first decline in about 60 years. Previously, China's Population and Development Research Center predicted that the population would experience a shift from growth to decline in the next decade, entering negative growth. China's total population is expected to reach a peak of 1.417 billion in 2027, before beginning to shrink. The birth rate in China can serve as a reference. China's birth rate has been in recession for the fourth consecutive year. In 2020, it was down nearly 15% from 2019, which is a new low since the CCP took power in 1949. It is even lower than the number of births during the 3-year famine in the 1960s. China's total fertility rate has also been declining. The total fertility rate, TFR, is the average number of children per woman in a country or region between 15 and 49. It is commonly accepted that to reach a population replacement level and maintain stable structure between generations, TFR should generally reach a level of 2.1. When it falls below 1.5, it becomes a fertility trap, because once it is there, reversing the fertility decline becomes very difficult, if not impossible. In 2010, China's average total fertility rate was already 1.18, falling into a fertility trap. And by 2015, it had fallen to 1.047, less than half of the replacement level. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the average number of women of childbearing age in China reached an all-time high in 2010 and has declined year by year since then. Chinese population expert Dongyu Cheng, director of the Guangdong Institute of Population Development, said that the number of births is expected to fall below 10 million per year between 2021 and 2025. He called on the Chinese government to fully loosen up the birth control policy. On February 18, 2021, the Chinese government decided that a comprehensive fertility pilot program could be implemented in 3 provinces in northeastern China. The Northeast has a chronically low fertility rate that is almost at the bottom of the list in China. Official figures show that in 2019, China's birth rate was 10.48 per 1,000, while the average birth rate in northeast China was 5 to 6 per 1,000. This region used to be an old industrial base with a predominantly state-owned economy. However, with the gradual depletion of resources in northeast China and the upgrading and transformation of industries, a large number of young workers are moving to regions with better economies and higher wages. In addition, this region was more thorough and strict in its implementation of the one-child policy. The proportion of one-child families in the Northeast was higher than in other parts of China, driving down the birth rate further. Accompanying the low birth rate is the aging of the population. According to international standards, a country or region with more than 7% of its total population aged 65 and above indicates an aging population. In 2019, 2 of the 3 northeastern provinces already have an aged population of more than 13%. And the remaining one is more than 16%. Japan ranks first in the world in terms of old age. In 2019, the birth rate in the 3 northeastern provinces was 0.61%, even lower than Japan's birth rate of 0.68% in the same year. On February 26, 2021, officials from the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security said the proportion of Chinese aged 60 and above had reached 18.1% by the end of 2019. And this figure is projected to exceed 300 million between 2021 and 2025, moving China's population category from mildly aged to moderately aged. At the same time, China's working age population has been declining since 2012, with an average annual decline of more than 3 million people and only getting worse. China expects a decrease of another 35 million people between 2021 and 2025. The human population is a significant social resource. Regions with large populations tend to have more workforce, larger markets, and more dynamic societies. Therefore, a large population and rapid population growth tend to provide a social period of demographic dividends. On the other hand, negative population growth and an aging population will lead to a series of challenges such as labor shortage and an aging workforce. Moreover, it increases spending on pensions, medical insurance, social welfare, and decreases market consumption demand. Its negative impact on the economy is evident.
目前呢，我部正会同相关部门在研究具体的这个改革方案。由于延迟退休年龄呢，涉及到广大职工的切身利益，我们在方案的研究制定过程中，将会广泛的听取各方面的意见，确保方案科学可行、平稳实施。
According to a Chinese media report on April 20, referring to the population statistics disclosed by 26 cities at the prefectural level, 8 cities had a negative population growth rate. These are the official numbers from China, and the reality could be worse. So, why is there a population crisis in China? The first thing that comes to mind for many viewers is the family planning policy that the Chinese Communist Party has mandated throughout the entire nation since 1978.
有人估算过，就是说，因为这个计划生育政策，本来有4亿的婴儿应该出生没有出生。4亿的生命，不仅是这4亿的生命，包括他父母经受的精神、身体的折磨，这样的巨大的人权灾难，谁来负责？
In response to the problem of an aging population, China officially abolished the one-child policy in 2016 and fully implemented the two-child policy.
我觉得政府在没有向人民道歉的同时，又说出了一句话，说是生娃不是个人的事，还是国家的事。这个恬不知耻的话，让人感到非常的悲哀和愤怒。
But China's birth rate has not improved. The Communist Party's decades-long one-child policy has entirely changed the Chinese people's perception of fertility. The percentage of people who are infertile in China is increasing year by year. Official Chinese data released in 2009 showed that 1 in 8 couples of childbearing age in China were barren on average. This figure is 5 times higher than in the 1980s. In a 2017 survey, among the top 10 reasons women of childbearing age do not intend to have children, the top 3 answers are as follows. 60% of respondents consider heavy financial burden as the primary reason, followed by 20% citing being too old, and 5.4% alleging no one to help look after the child. Chinese people are under so much economic pressure. Housing prices are high. Buying and renting a house hollows out most of the young people's income. The cost of raising children is so high that young people cannot afford it. In 2008, urban residents spent 60% of their income buying a house. In 2019, the ratio was 110.8%. Buying a home has put a heavy debt burden on the vast majority of young people in China. We can argue that a prominent contribution of real estate in mainland China is to have propelled China into an old-age society 30 years sooner. A list of the top 10 cities in China in child-rearing costs is circulating on the internet. At the top of the list is Beijing, followed by Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and other big cities. The list also compares urban family wages with the cost of raising a child and finds that a Beijing family would need to work 23 years without food and drink to save up for the cost of having a child.
孩子的营养要全面学习得跟得上，发育也要正常。上学供到20多岁，一毕业呢还得给买车买房。最重要的是什么呢？是现在的父母呢，并不希望孩子以后能给自己多少的回报。只是希望能让他健康成长，这其实是在拿自己半辈子的时间和收入，为社会培养一个有用的人。这本质上它是一个公益行为。作为父母呢，获得的仅仅是一个可怜的冠名权而已。
Some experts in China argue that the collapse of China's population has arrived. Such population decline will not be remedied if the fertility rate doesn't increase significantly. Thank you for watching. If you like our work, please hit that like button and share our content with a friend. We strive to bring you the latest news, commentary, and insights out of China, and we want to hear from you. Please comment, and we will be sure to engage. Thanks again, and take care.